I don't want this to be a super depressing video. I want to keep this as lighthearted as possible while also telling the story of Max. So Max, if you do not know, is my dog. He is in this picture here and he is in this picture here. He did pass away on the 10th of June, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably would not be aware of the absolute drama that he caused. He was a drama queen till the end, and today I want this to be a celebration of him. I want to talk about him. I want to just make the last little hurrah for him. I am filming this video a long time after he has passed. It's 3 weeks on Monday as I'm filming this. Today is Friday. So I wanted to give myself some time to process, to really think about things before I just jumped on camera and started talking about it. I do think it's something important that I am wanting to talk about with you guys because he was such a massive part of my life. You guys loved him as well. He was just the best dog in the world. I feel weird asking for subscribers for this video, but hey, if you do like my makeup, if you like what I have to say and my style, then maybe subscribe. We are trying to hit 5k subscribers, so hopefully we can do that by the end of the year. I'm gonna use my BeautyBay Reckless Romance today. I probably won't talk much about the makeup that I'm doing. I just want to get in the zone, get in, you know, the stories and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'm gonna prime my eyes first. So I got Max when I was 8. So this is us. I was 8 and Max was only a few months old at that point. And he has been my absolute best friend for nearly 15 years. Max was 2 months off his 15th birthday when he passed away. We were really hoping that he'd get to his 15th birthday, but you know what? We've had a really good amount of time with him. 14, nearly 15 years is so long for a dog. And he has just been the best dog in the absolute world. Like, I just feel so blessed to have had him and to have owned him because he was just something else. So last April, so it's been going on for a year, over a year. So last April, he was actually diagnosed with some tumours in his chest. He went in for an operation on his mouth. He had like growths on his gums. So we took him in for an operation. He was 13 at the time, I think. And after that, that's when it all just kind of went downhill. He came home after the operation. It was nothing to do with he didn't even have any diagnoses at that point. And he was recovering for a good few days and then he just kind of went downhill. I feel like giving an older dog an operation and anesthetic and stuff, it was risky, but we did it because he didn't have anything wrong with him, or so we thought at the time. It was hard for him to eat and stuff, so we thought, you know what, just give him the operation. There's nothing wrong with him. He doesn't have any diagnoses. So yeah, that's what we did, and that is where it all went downhill. So I was living away at this point. I was at uni, and my mum phoned me about 3 days after his mouth operation and said, he's really bad. I've taken him to the vets. They've done an x-ray and they found some tumours in his chest. Like, this is it, basically. So come home quick because we don't have long with him. So first thing, I got on that train and I was sobbing throughout the whole train journey. I must have looked an absolute state, but I didn't care. I did not care. The thing that made me think at that time, he's going to be all right, he's going to get through this, is because I walked through the door, and if you have seen like my Instagram stories of Max or things like that, you'll know that he was a very vocal dog. He'd bark at you for no reason. He'd start growling at you because he thought it was funny, like things like that. I walked through the door and his tail gave a little slight wag and he did this like really pathetic like bark at me, and I was like, he's gonna be fine. He's okay. Like, he was really bad at the time, but that was the moment when I thought, he's got some fight left in him. He's gonna be fine. That night, over a year ago, he just cried all night, bless him. He was clearly in some distress. He was clearly in some pain. And me and my mom started having the talks of when the time comes, you know? Which is like the most awful conversation to have with someone, because everyone always says, oh, you'll know when it's time. And I was sat there, I was like, how can you ever say that? How can you possibly know when it's time to put your best friend to sleep. But I can't describe it, like, you know. And I know if you've never been in that situation, you're like, I would never know. I would never know. It's impossible to know. But you just do. And at that time, it was a no. We were not comfortable putting him to sleep at that time. He started getting a lot better. He started on steroids and he started on different medications and he started to get a lot better. So then we're going to fast forward to maybe about 2 months ago. Max was having a really bad stomach issue and we literally just thought it was a bad tummy. His stomach was really big, like he looked pregnant, and he had the runs. So we thought, oh, you know, he's got a stomach upset. It's been going on for quite a while now. We're going to take him to the vets. Hopefully he can have some, like, I don't know, something to stiffen his deposits and he'll be fine. And we came out of the vets and we were told that he actually had liver failure. And that is why his stomach was so big. He couldn't filter out the fluids properly. So they were just staying in his stomach. And that's why his stomach was just massive. And we were given about 2 months to 6 weeks then and there. We were actually told that if he wasn't better on some medication, that weekend would be the weekend that he passed. And he went in the vets on like the Wednesday, I think, and they said come back on Friday if he's not better. So it was like, whoa. He went in for a stomach upset. Like, what? It was just insane. It was just the wildest thing. I was not expecting it at all. And that was when it was really put into perspective, like how bad he was. He wasn't bad. That's the thing. Like he had the runs, he had a stomach upset, but then that night, it's almost like he knew that he went to the vet. That night he got bad. So of course we started his medication straight away. And by that Friday, we assessed him and we thought, no, he's okay. He's okay to keep going. He's responding to the medicine quite well. We don't feel comfortable putting him to sleep now because he was mentally there. He was, you know, he was not okay, but he was managing. So we phoned the vets and we said, look, Max is okay. We're not going to make the decision today. We're going to keep him going. We're going to keep him on the steroids. We're going to keep him on his meds. And we're just going to see what the future holds, I guess. But we had been given this 2 month to 6 week window. And we were definitely like on the last straw, you know? So then Max just got better and better and better and better. And me and my mum were like, I think he's going to make over this 2 months. We think, he's going to make over this 6 weeks because he's absolutely fine. We brought his steroids down because he was just so good. He was so good. We spoke to the vet and the vet said, yeah, like take his steroids down because then you have somewhere to go if he does get really bad again. And so, yeah, we took his steroids down. He was on 1 steroid a day from 2. He was so good. He was, you know, walking around. He was playing. He was barking. He was asking for treats. He was just living his best life. He was absolutely fine. And me and my mom were like, this is great. We did notice that he wasn't eating much. And that was like a pretty big thing because he just would not eat at all. We ended up making him like scrambled eggs and rice, and we started making him just all these foods that probably dogs, I mean, they can eat, but not dog food. Like he would not touch his dog food. He would not touch anything. We, for a while, were cooking mince for him. We were making mince, and he just wasn't really eating much. Even the human food that we put down for him, he'd kind of take or leave, really. He wasn't fussed about that. But we thought, well, maybe it's his stomach, like maybe he's uncomfortable, or maybe, you know, just different things. But other than that, he was still Max. He was still doing pretty good, I guess. I don't know. But then it all just seemed to go downhill, like very, very quickly. And I think that was the most shocking part to me, how quickly he went downhill. So it was the Thursday night. It was really, really late at night, and he just went downhill. It was so quick. He was lying on his bed and it was about 11:30 at night and he just couldn't use his legs. Like, I had to pick him up. And he had been going in the garden quite a lot and just staying in the garden quite a lot. And I'd have to, like, bring him in, like, lift him up and bring him in physically. And I know that when a dog is sensing that his time is near, they do often go in the garden. They don't want to be around people. They want to be outside. So that was worrying. That had been going on for, I don't know, maybe like a week. He still wasn't really eating, but I don't know, his legs were a little bit wobbly, but we were thinking, you know, he's nearly 15. It happens, like an old person, an old human, their legs are wobbly. So we didn't, like, we knew it would come eventually, the wobbly legs and stuff. It's just something that happens with age. We weren't, like, immediately alarmed by it. But on that Thursday night, he, like, collapsed multiple times. His legs just went from under him. And it was just wrong. I don't know, it just felt wrong. So I was actually due to go away that weekend, and for context, one of my school friends has just passed away as well, and I needed to just get away. I know a lot of people would probably think that that's really, really bad for me to do, to just, like, go away for the weekend when my dog is... At the time, I didn't see it as, like, dangerously close to passing away. At the time, I thought he maybe had, like, 1 or 2 weeks left. I thought, you know, if I go away for this weekend, I've had, you know, my great aunt passed away and my school friend passed away within a few weeks of each other. And then we had Maxie's diagnosis on the same day that I found out my friend had died. So I was like, I need to just get away for the weekend. Max has, in my head, a few weeks left at this point, and this is my last chance to get away before things really get bad. So I went away for the weekend, which right now, I don't know if I do regret it, just because I feel like I did need it. I needed to just get away. However, that was, little to my knowledge, Maxie's last weekend. I do feel bad for not being there. There is a bit of guilt for, you know, not being there and kind of almost like running away when he kind of needed me. But I don't know, there's a lot of emotions there that I'm definitely looking at. So on the Sunday night, it was my last night at my boyfriend's house. I was coming home on the Monday morning very, very early, and my mum started texting me saying he's bad. Like, he is really, really bad. We're gonna have to make the choice soon. We're gonna have to make the decision soon. And I think I accepted it then and there. I don't know, there was just something in me. I hadn't physically seen him, but there was something in me that was like, yeah, this is time. And I don't know how to describe it, because like I said, I hadn't even seen him, but I just kind of knew in my heart and in my gut that it was his time. So I locked myself in my boyfriend's bathroom and just, like, sobbed. Like, I think I knew that the time was right, and I knew that, I don't know, there was a bit of guilt for leaving on that weekend. I wasn't to know, so I'm not trying to beat myself up too bad, but I didn't know. I didn't think he was that bad, like, genuinely. His legs were going a little bit, and, you know, he wasn't eating, but he didn't seem to be, you know, going, like, imminently when I left him. So yeah, I cried a lot. On that Monday morning, my boyfriend works at a hospital, so he had to be in work really, really early. He dropped me off at home about 7:30 in the morning. I went in to the main house, and Max had actually chosen to sleep next to my mum in my mum's room that night. Sometimes he slept in my mum's room, sometimes he wanted to sleep in the living room, but it made me happy to know that he had chosen to sleep next to my mum that night. So I lay down, my mum wasn't awake yet, I lay down next to him in my mum's room, and he gave me 2 kisses on my hand, and I'll remember that forever. And I just kind of, like, when he stopped, I remembered thinking, like, please don't stop. Please don't stop giving me kisses. Like, I want all the kisses in the world. Please just keep kissing my hand. Like, I put my hand in front of him, and he was just kind of, like, done at that point. So I was like, okay. I lay next to him for about half an hour. And then that's when it really took a turn, I think. So he did a bit of a wiggle. He was on his bed, he did a little bit of a wiggle with his front paws, and I thought, oh, he wants to get up, he wants to go somewhere. So I helped him up, he stood up, and he just kind of stood there on all fours for a minute, and he took a step and just collapsed straight away. His back legs had just gone over the weekend. It was the wildest thing. Just over the weekend, he just gone. And I was quite shocked, to be honest, at that. I really didn't know what to do. So I helped him up again, and I held him up by like his stomach and his chest so that he could walk through the hall. Now, our hallway is probably about 6 to 8 feet. It's a very, very small hallway. So he made it to the end of that, and then he looked at the front door, which was weird because he always went for a wee out the back door. But he just looked at the front door, and I thought, hey, it's closer than the back door because you have to walk through the kitchen to get to the back door. But he looked at the front door, and I thought, if he wants to go out the front, he can go out the front. So I kind of held a hand under him and reached to unlock the front door, and he just had a wee, like, there. He's not one for weeing in the house. When we were first given the, 2 months, he did have a phase of, having accidents in the house then. But he was put on, water tablets and things like that, so we kind of knew why. But he just had a wee. He didn't squat, he didn't do anything. He just stood and had a wee in the hall. And I was like, that's fine. That's fine. Like I was saying to him, it's all right. Because he always got really sheepish when he did that. Like, he never liked doing that. So I was saying, it's all right. So then I had to kind of let go of him to open the front door. He took a step or two, and then he collapsed again on his side. And this time he didn't even try and get up. He didn't move. He just fell and just stayed exactly where he landed. He was in the doorway. I'd managed to open the front door, and he was in the open doorway, and the sun was on his face. So I tried to move him, and he just didn't want to be moved. So I thought, you know what? I'll leave him there. He wants to be here. He hadn't fallen in the wee, so I cleaned the wee up, and then I sat with him in the front doorway for about 40 minutes maybe. So this all happened on the Monday morning. This was the Monday morning that I'm talking about now, and my mum woke up after those kind of 40-ish minutes, and she was obviously like, what are you doing in the hallway? With the door wide open, just sat in the doorway, what's going on? So I obviously told her everything that had happened that morning, and she kind of looked at me like, this isn't good. You have to know this isn't good. And the way that my brain worked is we reduced his steroids. We had put the steroids back up to 2 a day before all this happened. But this was his back legs now. Even if the steroids magically kicked in, his legs still wouldn't come back. His legs were gone. You can't just bring back legs. And they'd just gone downhill so quickly. And that was my kind of thought process when talking to my mum that morning. Yes, his liver failure could magically get better with these steroids, but there is no cure for back legs. And that was the thing. He looked miserable, bless him. He looked so tired. He looked so weak. And I kind of sat with my mum then, and we both kind of said, yeah, it's probably got to be today, which was just horrible. So I ended up picking him up, under his chin, on his chest, and then on his bum. That's how I picked him up. I walked him out of the doorway and into the living room, and I sat down cross-legged, and he just stayed in my lap. He wasn't a cuddly dog at all. He didn't like cuddles. We'd always try and wind him up by trying to cuddle him, and he'd be like, get off. But that morning he wanted cuddles, and that was again a big, I don't know how you say it, just you knew, we knew, because he wanted cuddles and he wanted to be around us all the time. So this picture was that I'd sat with him. He was on my knee, and that was the time that we'd phoned the vets. My mum had actually texted the vet the night before and said, Max is really bad, can you pencil us in for it? And they had, and we phoned the vets again, and we just said, yeah, it's bad. Like, it's gonna have to be done. So the vets said that they'd be at our house. It was a home visit because we didn't want to take Max into the vet. We didn't want to have to do it at the vet. So they came over, they did a home visit, and they said, oh, we'll be with you at 12:30. And this was 8:30 in the morning. So that few hours was hell. That few hours, 8:30 to 12:30, just waiting for the vet to come was, I can't describe it to you. It was the worst kind of torture in the world. We managed to get Max on his own bed. We managed to, like, move him to be comfortable, and he just lay there, like, not bothered. We tried to feed him chocolate biscuits, was not bothered, and that again was like, wow, okay, this is serious. If he's not eating chocolate biscuits, then we know something is very, very wrong. But we tried to get him to eat so many different foods that morning, and he just, like, wouldn't. We tried him with eggs, we tried him with mints, we tried him with chocolate biscuits, we tried him just with everything we could possibly think of, and he wouldn't eat it. And that again was like a massive, okay, I think we've made the right decision. So obviously I was like sobbing and crying all morning, waiting for the vet to come. Like, that was the worst part for me, just waiting for the vet to come. And finally he arrived at 12:30, and Max didn't even look up. Like, a new person, especially a man. Max was a man's dog. Oh my god. He saw a man and he was like off. Like, who am I? Like, no one knows. But there's a man, you know? So the fact that he just, like, didn't care when the vet walked in, again, massive, you know, a massive testament to how bad he was. Like, he didn't even move his eyes up. He just lay there. So we were like, yeah, Rob came in, the vet. He's been incredible all the way through. It's a very small vet practice, and it's just so good. So they know Max. They love Max as well, just as much as we do. And he kind of said the tumours that he was diagnosed with over a year ago, they might have spread to his liver, and that's what's causing all of this. It's just the tumours almost like blocking the liver, and that's why he's just gone downhill. And we're like, right, okay. So I was obviously distraught. I was really, really bad. I had my head on Maxie's stomach, and my mum had her head by Maxie's head, and that's where it was done. On his bed. He passed away on his own bed, and it was the most peaceful thing I've ever seen. It was bizarre. The vet told us that there was a possibility that Max might, like, gasp, and I was like, please God, no. But no, none of that happened. Max was already lying on his side when Rob walked in, and he just stopped breathing. Like, there was no jolt, there was no slump, there was no nothing. Like, he stayed exactly where he was, and yeah, he passed then and there. And you know what the weirdest thing is? I've always thought that seeing him there, like, at the end, would be the worst part. But as soon as I felt him stop and, like, go, I had this wave of, like, okay, it's fine now. And it's the weirdest thing. I have spoken to my therapist about it because it freaked me out so bad. Like, I stopped crying. I stopped, you know, dreading. I stopped all of it. And I felt this wave of, like, yep, that's good. That's fine. Like, we're done now. It's done. It's done. And I thought that seeing my beloved pet not here anymore in front of me would be, like, the worst thing in the world. But that was actually the calming part of it. It sounds so weird. I sound like a psychopath. But, like, I feel like I should have been wailing and crying and screaming. That's when my mum kind of broke, I think. And I just was like, this is fine. This is okay. Like, he's done now. I don't know. I felt like I should have been a lot more upset in that moment than I was. I think I'd kind of processed it the night before, And now that Max had gone, it was like, okay, there's nothing to kind of dread anymore. There's nothing to kind of be upset about anymore. I don't know. There is, obviously, because my dog had passed away. I knew that Max was at peace. I knew it was the right time. 1,000,000%. Like, he was ready to go. I do have a picture. I won't show it on screen, but it's Maxie's last picture. And it's where he was when he passed. And his face just looked done. He just looks so sad and so, like, drained. And I often do look back at that picture and think it was the right thing. It was 1,000,000% the right thing to do, because how he looked in that picture breaks my heart. Like, breaks my heart. After Maxie was taken away, because obviously the vet took him away, me and my mum both felt okay. Yeah, we both strangely felt okay. And I thought that we'd both be in the same kind of boat, but I think it hit my mum a lot the next day. Like, I don't know, like no routine anymore. We didn't have to get up, give Max his tablets, do wee in bed, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think it hit my mum a lot after. And I'm still kind of waiting almost for it to hit me. I obviously understand and have processed and recognized that he isn't here anymore, but I feel weirdly okay, and it is freaking me out a bit, not gonna lie. I've had a few tears. We went away, me and Ben went away for the weekend, and I saw a white staffy on the beach, and I was like, I went then. I've had a few moments here and there, but I wouldn't say that they're like distraught things, you know. I think a big reason is because I have got used to living away from him. So I live in a detached converted garage, so I'm not in the main house all the time. And also I went to uni for 3 years, so I'd kind of almost got used to having him not around. But with my mum, like, she was with him every single day, so that's probably a huge reason why she took it so badly. But I feel almost guilty for feeling so fine. But I think it is because I did just process it before. We've had a whole year to kind of accept it. We've had a whole year to, I don't know, we've had a whole year like knowing that he's gonna go soon. And I think I processed it more than I thought I did then. But the vets have been so good with him. The vet, I'm shocked at how good the vets were. So even when Rob was, you know, giving him the injection, he was stroking him. He was saying, it's okay, like, good boy, things like that. And even when he lifted him up to put him in the van, Rob was saying, you know, oh, up we go, things like that. And I just felt so at ease knowing that he wasn't just being, like, thrown into a van, you know? But I don't know, maybe it's gonna hit me a lot in a few weeks, maybe. Obviously I do have his collar here on his little picture. His ashes have been brought back to us. It was quite a wait. It was about 2 weeks before we got his ashes back, which to me was a big, like, bad part as well. Just, like, thinking of him just, like, in a fridge somewhere, like, you know, that part of it was like, no, I'm very uncomfortable with that. Like, I'm feeling that. But we got him back. I had a few tears when we obviously got the ashes back. We got these paw prints. Let me show you. So they must have, like, inked his paw prints. And we got 4 of these, all 4 of his little paws. So I think that's, like, so cute. That's so nice. And they hand delivered them as well with a card. So, like, the vets have just been so good. I'm gonna put it down because I don't want makeup all over it. I was talking to my mum, and my mum said the same thing. If something like this could go perfectly, it did, you know? It's just such a weird thing to say that it's gone so well. There was no, like, you know, jump, or there was nothing distressing about it. Like, he did soil himself when he went, but we'd kind of prepared for that. We'd put a blanket under him because he did have a bit of a runny bum, like, yeah. So we'd kind of prepared for that, but it's just been so bizarre the past few weeks. Yeah, good and bad. Like, we are so glad that we did it when we did. He wasn't suffering long at all. If anything, it was just like Friday to the Monday that he was suffering. It was his time to go. We are so 100% sure of that. And yeah, I'm glad that he went when he did, and I have no regrets about that at all. I have got the lumps, you know, while talking about this with you, so I'm not completely an unemotional monster, you know. There is something going on in this brain, but I do feel like I don't know, I'm taking it too well. But there's just so many amazing memories that I have with him. I'm so grateful for every single day, every single second. Like, there's just been nearly 15 years of just amazing memories. I would not change it for the world. I would not change him for the world. I don't know, I feel like he was like my best friend. He was so funny. And it is just a bit weird without him. I was speaking to my therapist about maybe the reasons why I have been so okay over the past few weeks. And she said, like, maybe I'm just used to grief. Because as I said, my school friend passed away, my great aunt Sarah passed away, and it's all just been one after the other, like, constant. And maybe I've just kind of shut down or got used to this feeling of grief, which I hope I don't get hit with it suddenly, like, one day. But yeah, she told me there's no right way to mourn. Like, I shouldn't feel guilty for feeling how I do about the situation, and that's definitely made me feel a bit better, a bit less of a freak, I guess. Like, I felt like a freak, because I was just like, I was so fine. And like, this dog meant the world to me. It's not like it was just a dog. Like, I've got 2 pictures of him in my background. Like, that dog was not just a dog. He was like my brother almost. He was just like everything. So it's not that I didn't care, but it is just really strange. I've remembered to do my brows today. Well done me. If I do suddenly just break down crying one day, I've got to just remember that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to push the emotions away. I'm just going to try and just be kind to myself. Be available emotionally for myself as much as humanly possible, because I need that. It's been a really, really rough few months for loss and grief. I did do a whole get ready with me about... Well, it was before Maxie died, and I was already, like, struggling with it all. So it's just been crazy. Like, 3 losses in 2 months, really, in the span of 2 months. It's been nuts. It really has been. But I think, hopefully, touch wood, Maxie was the last one. No one else is on the verge. No one else is, you know, ready to go. So I'm hoping that for at least this year now, 2024, no more loss, please. No more. Because I don't think I can take it. Right, I think I'm going to go do my lips and my lashes off camera, just because I think I've come to the end of what I want to say, and I'm sweating in this fluffy hoodie, so I need to get changed, like, now. Otherwise, I think I'm going to faint. So, I will come back in a sec, round off, do the whole look, and then, yeah, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back in something a little bit lighter, which is nice. I feel like I can breathe now. My breakouts on my chest are not good. I'm not even going to show you my back, because I did do a little bit of skin picking last night, and it is gnarly. So here we go. This is the final look. I'm pretty happy with this. I've not played with the Reckless Romance for quite a while, but it is my No Pan Left Behind right now. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna have a bit of a play around with it. I'm not a big pink girl, but I've said before, pinks and greys, or like smoky pinks, I do like those a lot. So here we go. I know I didn't speak about everything that I was doing on my face, but it will all be linked down below. I always do link everything that I wear on my face in every video down in the description box. But yeah, this is my goodbye, I think, to the best boy in the world. I did get a little bit emotional during this video, which I'm actually glad about, because I was perceiving myself as this like unemotional, horrible person, but I did get a little bit in this video. So I think that's good. I think that is part of healing, like feeling everything, really getting to grips with your emotions, things like that. So yeah, as unproductive as it sounds, I am glad that I did get a bit during this video. But yeah, it's very quiet in the house. It's like, I don't think I've heard a clock tick in 15 years, because Max was one of those dogs that was so vocal. Like, even his breathing was always so loud. And yeah, hearing a clock tick in the house is wild. Hearing anything is wild. Yeah, it's just really weird. It's gonna take obviously a very long time to get used to everything, but my healing has started, and hopefully, you know, he'll never be forgotten, but hopefully I can heal, and that's the most important thing. So thank you so much for all the love on, I'm sure, this video, and also the Instagram post that I made about him. Just everything, all the support, all the love is so greatly appreciated. Like, I genuinely love you all. You guys have made this so much easier for me, so much, just can I say a nicer experience? Because I don't know, is that valid? But yeah, it's just been a nice, it's not been nice, but it's been a nice turnout, I guess. It's been a nice, what am I even saying? You know what I'm saying. I don't know. But yeah, this is where I'm gonna love you and leave you today, guys. I think I'm gonna have a bit of a debrief. I've got a big filming day ahead of me, so I'm gonna have a chill, have some food, and then get on with some more filming. So thank you so much, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. This few months has been really, really horrific for me, but again, I'm really hoping that in the next few months, and hopefully in the rest of 2024, there's no more loss. It's just a smooth ride, okay? I've had everything thrown at me over the past 2 months, and I'm just praying that I don't have to deal with anything else this year. Fingers crossed. I hope you have an absolutely incredible day today, guys. Hug your fur babies for me. Give them some love. And I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye-bye.